Okay, in this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to solve a system of equations by substituting. And the steps on the side are the steps that we learned in class, so I'm just going to follow each step one by one. Now I have this highlighted for you so you can see what y is equal to. When it says for that first step to solve one equation for one variable, make sure you make that easy on yourself, but this is already done for us. So step one is complete. Now, this is saying that y is equal to negative 2x plus 5, which means that negative 2x plus 5 is equal to y. So what we're going to do is substitute negative 2x plus 5 in for y. And so I would rewrite this second equation by writing negative 5x plus my negative 2x plus 5. Again, that's the same as my y. I'm just substituting so that I have one variable to solve for. And then I continue to write that's equal to negative 2. And then I'm just going to solve for the remaining values. So I substituted correctly. Now I solve, and that value that I'm solving for is x. Now, there wasn't anything before this y value, so I don't need to distribute anything out. So these parentheses don't need to be there. So I'm going to box in my variables so that I know what I need to combine. And the purpose for boxing is just so that I keep that negative with the number. So that negative 5x plus negative 2x is going to give me a negative 7x. And then everything else I just bring down. So I bring down my plus 5 and I bring down my negative 2. Okay, now I need to get x by itself. So I would subtract 5 from both sides. I want to perform an inverse operation by creating a 0 pair. And I bring down my negative 7x. And that's equal to a negative and a negative. You keep the sign and add the numbers. Now in order to solve for x, I need to divide by my coefficient, which is negative 7. Negative 7 divided by 7 gives me 1. So x is equal to 1. So I've successfully solved for my x value. Now, the cool part about substitution is that y is already solved for. So when I plug this x back in, it's going to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm going to make this green so you can see it. And I'm just going to plug that back into now. It doesn't matter which equation I choose, but I would suggest that you make it easy on yourself. So I'm going to plug that x in, and I'll replace it with my 1. And then I just write everything else the same. And that came from the equation y is equal to negative 2x plus 5, where I just substituted my 1 in for x because x is equal to 1. And then I solve. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 5 is equal to 3. Now, an important part of this here, before I write as an ordered pair and say that I'm done, is to check. And in order to check, I'm going to plug these numbers, x and y, back into my original 2 equations. If they're both true, then I'm good. If one of them is true and one of them is false, then I probably made a mistake. So I'm going to keep my x green, and I'm going to keep my y blue. So y is 3. And let me rewrite these equations first. So I have y equals negative 2x plus 5. We just said that y is equal to 3. And that's equal to negative 2 times 1 plus 5. So then I just solve. 3 should be equal to negative 2 plus 5. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. So you have to ask yourself the question, is 3 equal to 3? And that is true. So that means that 3 is the solution to this equation. Now I just need to check the other one. And that's negative 5x plus y equals negative 2. I'm going to plug in 1 for my x value. and I'll plug in 3 for my y value because I just solved. And that should give me negative 2. So I'm going to multiply that out first. It's negative 5 plus a positive 3. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. And then you have to ask yourself the question, is this true? Is negative 2 equal to 2? Yes, it is. So I checked it. Now I'd write my answer as an ordered pair. Remember, in an ordered pair form, x always comes first and then it's y. So I would write it as 1, 3. The cool part about checking your solution as well is there's never a question if you did it right or not. Because if you check it and you get that these statements in the bottom are true, then you know that it is true. So that you can self-check yourself and know if you're doing that correct or not. Again, this is how to solve a system of equations by substitution.